Alright, YouTube, what's going on? Today we've got an unboxing that I've been working on for a while. This is the Boxee Box from D-Link. And if you've seen a couple videos on my channel, one thing I collect is little media players. Apple TVs, Roku's, Amazon Fire TVs, Chromecast, any sort of media player or streamer or other things like that. So I've reviewed quite a few of them. I think I have 13. This is like the 14th one. So this is a pretty rare box, but it is considered one of the best. So we're going to unbox this. This is the Boxee Box by D-Link. And you think D-Link, that's kind of a networking company, sort of a lame networking company. But they actually made this way back in 2010. It was discontinued 2 years later for a couple bugs and other things like that. But in my opinion, it is still one of the better media players that's out there. So it talks about connectivity on this side, and it's very good in connectivity. That's one of the main faults of most modern media players, I think. Amazon Fire TV, for example, has a USB port. Can't do anything with it unless you use it as like a keyboard or a mouse or something like that. No expandable storage. It's basically worthless as a USB port. Same thing goes for the Nexus player. Same issues. This has wired or wireless internet. It has a gigabit Ethernet on it. SD card slot, which is good. HDMI port, obviously. Two USB 2.0 ports, just because it was kind of right around the time USB 3.0 came out. Optical and composite audio ports. So it has left and right analog audio out and digital optical out, which is awesome. Two USB ports, power, HDMI, and gigabit Ethernet, which is great. And then on the other side, it's got a couple pictures of it. On the back here, it says Boxee Box. It says on-demand TV, thousands of shows available for free from favorite networks, ready to watch anytime. Enjoy a huge movie collection, enjoy free movies from the web, and watch new releases in stunning HD from premium movie services. Play your stuff too. Access video, songs, or pictures from your computer or home network. Notice that I didn't say music. Video, songs, I guess songs, music, but there's some issues with that. We'll get into that in a second. See what your friends are watching. It connects to a lot of social media things. The Boxee Box was really social, but kind of controversial because of its software and how early they were in the game. So let's get into this. They're hard to find. They came out in 2010. Specs for it. It does have Intel inside, which is good. Most don't because it makes it cheaper. Now this was $200 when this came out in 2010. 2012 it was discontinued, so this player is old. There are many players before that, but this one's very old, but still kills it. I mean, there's a lot of players that are out there, Apple TVs and other things like that, that struggle with some higher end codecs and transcoding and really nice 7.1 Dolby Digital audio, or some really good HD content. This kills it. It has Intel Atom. It's dual core inside. It's 1.2 gigahertz dual core. It's got a gig of RAM, which is not that much, but it was a lot for the time. And there are still plenty of devices out there that still have less than a gig of RAM, and this shines pretty well. The software is great on it. So we'll get into it. So you open it up. Kind of looks like that. You've got the Boxee Box right on top here. You can kind of pull this top box out. And another thing I really like about this media player is it's not the same boring shape as the rest of them. This is a little bit unique, so it's a nice conversation starter just sitting on a desk or something like that. All the players nowadays, even Roku's and Apple TVs, they're all these square, lame, slightly rounded rectangles. This, on the other hand, is slightly different. Still has that rectangular look. It's got this colored base, but when I set it down on something, like on my hand, for example, it sits at an angle. So it's got that sort of sharp, angled look, even though it is a square, but it's got that off-angle look to it, which is great. So on the front here, you have this glossy side. This lights up with the logo when it's turned on. On the side here, you've got the SD cards. On the back, we've got our analog, audio out, digital optical, HDMI, gigabit Ethernet, and the two USB ports. And then this is cooling down here. You've got the bottom that's got the Boxee logo. If you can see that, it's kind of the same color imprinted in there. And then that's about it. On top, you've got the standalone power button. So it looks nice. You've got the included wall wart power brick. It's pretty big, just like your any old standard like D-Link networking switch router sort of product. You've got that. The remote is wonderful too. Another highlight of this device. A lot of remotes nowadays are lame, but it looks like this. So this is pretty common. You've got your directional pad, a play pause button, and kind of a menu button back there that works as a back button or pulls up menu, and then you've got their logo down there on the bottom. But the great thing about this remote is the full keyboard that's on the back. This is not IR either. It's not Wi-Fi direct like Roku's. This is RF, pairs with each individual Boxee Box. So the full keyboard's great. You can still pull up menus, and it has arrow buttons and other things like that. So you can only use this side of the remote if you want, which is awesome for typing in things on Netflix. It has a full web browser in there. It really works as kind of an all-in-one device. So keyboard's great. It's got this sort of soft touch, rubberized keys that are very good. Full keyboard though. This is kind of glossy, very fingerprint magnet-ish, but it's very, very lightweight. Kind of on the cheaper side, but I guess the only way I would prefer it is just a little bit heavier, maybe a little bit bigger. And that's about it. Software is great. It's Linux-based, but sort of resembles XBMC. It kind of competed directly against XBMC, but the specs on this are very, very good. It's great if you use Windows Media Share and DLNA. Also, if you're just kind of old school like I am sometimes. I've got a Media NAS with all of my pictures and movies and all that good stuff, but I also like to have the convenience of not going through a network or going through a back end, and I like just having a 4 or 5 terabyte hard drive, like the one I reviewed recently, that just has all my media there, and then I plug that into the device itself, and it just pulls all of my information from there. So this device is sort of the standalone piece to be able to do that. Only problem with, since it was discontinued, a lot of the services and apps and other things like that it had on it don't work anymore because D-Link kind of shut all that down. Some of the infrastructure still exists if you want a Boxee account or other things like that, but the community behind Boxee Box is fantastic. If you need any help with anything, if you're having issues with something, their forums are fantastic. There's a lot of third-party forums out there, and the people that really use these nowadays, the people that collect these, are the hardcore people, kind of like myself, that collect these media boxes and that are really into maximizing and using this as really a home theater PC to its fullest potential, rather than just some garbage $100, $50 stick that you can use to stream your Netflix. This is kind of the complete package, and works great in an AV system. If you have receivers and 2 zones and a bunch of different AV equipment, a lot of the new players are hard to work with because they don't have all these different audio outs and other features like that, like this box has. So the Boxee Box is pretty diverse, and I've been pretty good with it. But getting back to the community thing, their community is ridiculous. They're all very hardcore. They are all really super into hacking it and rooting the thing and maximizing it more than the manufacturer ever did. So now that it's been discontinued, it actually got better because there are people out there that have their own operating systems for it. And you can put XBMC on it and it runs like a champ. There's official builds. XBMC has its own official build for this device specifically. You can route them, FTP things over to it. There's a ton of options. There's a bunch of software that's out there that is better than the old software. They kind of took the software that they had and added onto it, and a lot of people have custom operating systems and other things like that for it that you can go and download for free, throw on a flash drive. And since this is a couple years old, it doesn't have support for things like Pandora. It doesn't have a YouTube app. It didn't have Hulu. But now with that software, you put a little bit of work into it, and it's better than a lot of media streamers that are out there. So that's my review for it. It's pretty simple. It's got a very good remote. It's got a good design. It is a little bit bulkier than some of the other boxes, but I'm not complaining. On the inside, it's great, powered by Intel. Power VR graphics, which is like 4 times nicer than anything else. All the Mali 400, Mali 800, Adreno 320 GPUs. This Power VR graphics is still miles ahead of that, and this thing is almost 5 years old. That's quite a long time. So if you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the comments section below. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. Questions or comments, I'll be around to answer them to the best of my ability, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Thanks.